COVID again. Ayo, kena balik.
Plot Malaysia, we're back.
We're back. Hello, welcome to the Plot Malaysia. This is episode 101. Yeah, 101. Okay, and of course, this is the show for the fans.
By the fans.
Woo! Haha! Well,
How's it going, Ram? How you been, man?
Oh, I've been great. How have you been? How's the rain? Is it really heavy on your side as well?
Oh my God, it's been raining for 2 days running, bro. Non-stop. So it's been pretty dire, pretty gloomy, and it's been raining a lot, man.
Yeah, and I can see you got yourself a nice haircut, bro. You're looking good.
I did eventually get myself a haircut. I think it was about time.
Yep.
Done the right thing, hopefully.
That's
but yeah,
great.
I mean, it's been a very busy time for me, Ram, as you know. That's the reason, guys, why we had a short break. But we're back now. We're back with a bang, and we're going to have these shows going on. Obviously, fingers crossed, because it's looking a bit gloomy on the Premier League and on the world front as well. We are faced with a pandemic that's raging on, and it's firing up again. So
it's raging on. It's Omicron.
It's Omicron, bro. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for the Premier League again. But we'll get right into that, Ram. So before we kick things off, Ram. Should we just catch up on what's happened? So obviously, guys, we want to use the show today to review or to preview some of the games this weekend. But as you know, there are not many games happening. There are lots of games cancelled. So that's going to be pretty quick. But let's just review some of the results from the week, actually, from the midweek games during the week. Again, Ram, your team United didn't really have a game because I think their game was postponed as well. So there were quite a lot of games postponed even during midweek. But obviously that toll is now a lot greater this weekend. So kicking off the results in midweek on Wednesday, Norwich took on Aston Villa. That was 2-0 to the Villa. So Steven Gerrard, well, he's lost only 2 games since joining Villa, and that was to Man City by 2-1 and Liverpool 1-0. So, I mean, he's doing a great job there. I think it's 4 wins out of 6. They're, I think, only 6 points off the top 4. And the way he's going, they're playing some good football. I mean, we played them recently, so we know they're very tough to break down, very well organized, and they've got some threat up front as well. So, kudos, TVG. Keep going, brother. Man City, 7, Leeds 0. I kind of saw this coming.
They ran riot, man. They ran riot.
Absolutely. But I kind of saw this coming, Ram, because Leeds are a team that I think the top clubs like to play. They are a bit too open. I mean, Man United beat them, 5-1 at the start of the season. Liverpool beat them 3-0 away at their place, I think. City have hammered them 7-0. They're just too open, I think, for some of the big clubs, and really easy to counter-attack and to pass through. So I mean, a bit of a shame, but Bielsa is taking a bit of a hammering this season so far. Brighton 0, Wolves 1. Brighton has slipped down a bit recently, not getting the results, not scoring goals, although they're still creating chances. And Wolves, a good team, man, Ram. Liverpool played them recently. It was a very tough game for us as well. Eventually, we scored a stoppage time goal through Divock Origi, but they're a very tough team to break down, very well organized under Bruno Lage. Obviously, they've got Adama Traore, Raul Jimenez, and then the Korean superstar Hwang Hee-chan, who looks like a good player as well. So good result for Wolves. Crystal Palace 2, Southampton 2. Patrick Vieira, he's got a lot of draws in his belt, man. But that game finished a draw. I think he's drawing. Yeah, I think he's been drawing a lot of games. But they, again, good side, Palace. They play good football under Vieira. Arsenal 2, West Ham 0. This was crucial because it was a fight for top 4. Arsenal are now in the top 4. West Ham have dropped out of the top 4. So Arsenal, Ram, you remember I spoke about this, man. They've got a good squad, good young squad now. They've stripped Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang of his captaincy, and that's an interesting part, right? He's not playing. He's been stripped of his captaincy. Looks like he's going to get sold. So they're being tough, but
because he came late. Because he arrived late from overseas for training or something like that. That was the reason, right?
Yeah, but that was I find that a bit funny. I think it was 3 times he's had disciplinary issues, and also because I mean, but this time it was a bit difficult for me to understand because I think he was visiting his sick mother. So I don't know why so harsh, but well, Arsenal are still winning games. Their young guns are doing well. Emil Smith-Rowe scored again, good goal as well. Lacazette has taken on the Aubameyang mantle, and he looks good. And Arsenal young squad, they look good. Only question is if they get injuries. how do they cope with that? Because I don't think their squad is very deep. Chelsea won, Everton won. This was a brilliant game for Liverpool, Ram, and City.
It's a brilliant game for United as well. We want Chelsea to drop points as much as possible. So yeah,
I mean, United is way off. They're not even going to finish in the top four. But
I just knew you were going to say that.
Top six, they may not finish. But Chelsea won, Everton won. I mean, Everton scored a late equalizer. I thought this was great game because Chelsea dropped points, and they've been dropping some points recently, which is good for Liverpool, really. So I think we're opening a bit of a gap, and it looks like it's now turning from a 3-horse race into a 2-horse title race. That's interesting. Liverpool 3, Newcastle 1. Cracking game of football.
What a goal by Alexander-Arnold.
I was just about to say, man, this game was all about that strike, man. That was a pure Steven Gerrard hit, man. It was hit like a rocket, no curl, nothing. It was just hit like an arrow.
It reminds me of Jon Arne Riis's type of rocket shot.
Not like one of those curlers from outside the box, but it was just hit like a rocket, like an arrow straight into the top corner. And he's capable of that, Trent, man. I think he's a top-class player. If there's any debate about who's better, Reece James and him, I mean, you can take it and keep it to yourself, man. I think he's the best because he's an all-round player. And when we talk about Liverpool, I will sort of elaborate on why I think he's a brilliant player. But yeah, good game. Jonjo Shelvey scored first, and then Liverpool came back. Jonjo, of course, next Liverpool player. Jota on the score sheet. Salah on the score sheet. Salah top scorer in the league with 15 now. Second top scorer in the league, Ram. You want to take a guess who that is?
I don't know. You go for it, man.
It's Diogo Jota and Jamie Vardy tied on 9 goals. So Liverpool.
That's why I don't want to say it.
So yeah, man, what a buy Jota has turned out to be. So great results over the week. Let's get straight into it, Ram. So the fixtures coming up. Let me just say, guys, 5 games were postponed before I think a couple of days ago, and then just shortly another game was postponed. So the game happening tonight, the only game that was scheduled to happen tonight, Aston Villa Burnley, has been postponed as well because Villa have had a COVID outbreak. So it's now only 4 games which are taking place tomorrow. And the problem with this is we just don't know, man. The way things are going, Liverpool have had some positive cases. Spurs have had, obviously, games postponed. So that could be postponed again if there are more positive cases. Some of the other teams, same as well. So not looking good for the Premier League, man. It looks like we could be heading into a behind closed door scenario or even a circuit breaker or something, which may be a good idea, stopping the league for a couple of weeks. But we can debate that, guys. And we want your thoughts on it as well. Let's start very quickly, Ram, I thought we'll start with this game for a change. Let's start with Newcastle, Man City. The reason why I want to start with this game is the 2 richest clubs on the planet, pretty much. Oil money versus oil money. Saudi Arabia versus Abu Dhabi. So what are your thoughts on this game, Ram? How do you think this one's going to pan out, brother? Can you hear me, Ram?
Well, for me, it's going to be a very funny, feeling that I don't think Newcastle is going to get anything in this game. That's for sure. It's not going to be possible for Newcastle to get anything out of this. I think Man City, they are going to go. They are high in confidence. They just won 7-0 off the trot, so I think they're gonna try to do that again. So it's gonna be another mauling of Newcastle. I feel.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I can't. As much as I want Newcastle to do something, I think this is gonna be a mauling, man. City are on fire right now, winning. I know it's. I don't know, man. It's one of those, right? City on fire right now, scoring goals after goals. And, Newcastle defensively, they actually were quite resolute against Liverpool. So I've got to say that. They were quite resolute against Liverpool. But, City are just going to pass them to death, man. And that's the problem. I don't think they're going to get anything. And you know what the bigger issue is for me? The one man who could have done something for Newcastle, who actually gave us some tough times as well when we played them a couple of days ago, was Alain Saint-Maximin.
I love his name. I love his name.
And then you know what? They dropped points. He's injured. He went off injured.
That is sad.
For Newcastle. Michel Balzan, great point, man. This is talking about the COVID scenario. This is the problem as well. I get where you're coming from, and I don't want the league to stop, because if you stop for a couple of weeks, where does it end, man? It's going to turn into months and months. You feel just like it was before.
Yep.
The only thing I've got to say about this, man, having watched a full season without supporters last year, I don't want that to happen again. I didn't enjoy that football at all. And for me, I would rather you postpone the games as opposed to you have a football game without
Close
supporters.
down.
And
Yeah.
I think it loses a lot. Uh, and I mean, a team like Liverpool, because I support Liverpool, obviously, a team like Liverpool depends on the fans, and if you don't have that, I think you're going to you might as well just give the title to City. So that's my issue with this. It's a difficult
So
situation, man. It's a really, really difficult situation. What do you
I
do in
mean,
this situation?
I personally feel I agree with you, Hari. I mean, as of course football fans, we want the fans to be at the stadiums. We want
Yeah.
the stadiums to have the atmosphere. We want it to be like home team. We're giving this full support to the home team. We want to see all that happening. But in reality, of course, we do feel it's better that they postpone the games versus having games behind closed doors. I think we all don't want that to happen. We prefer it to be like, okay, postpone is better.
But
But
but then again, Ram, where does this end, right? So Michel's got a point. Yeah,
it's
I
it's
agree with
it's
that.
it's it's
I
never going to
agree with
end,
the
bro.
No,
It's
I
never
agree
going
with
to
the
end.
fact that you postpone the games because I rather have the supporters in the stadium than behind closed doors. But what happens if postponing for 2 weeks doesn't work and they decide to postpone it for months, and then it becomes a problem because
The
this is
Premier
what we
League might
enjoy,
just
man.
shut down for a while. The Premier League
Yeah,
might
we
just
know,
shut
but
down
that's
for a while.
that's the problem, man. I enjoy
Yep,
watching the Premier League. It's my getaway over the weekend, watching my team
yep,
play, and
yep.
if that
Exactly.
doesn't happen for a few months, it's going to be so boring. So I
Yep.
don't know, man. It's catch 22 here.
Okay. Here's a quick question to you, Harry. Here's a quick question. Now we both agree that we don't want to do it behind closed doors. Okay. We both agree that we want fans to be around. And we both agree that it's good to postpone the games until the outbreak clears. All the teams are all right, and then they can start
I think
playing
the
again.
outbreak will not
Right.
clear, but at
Well, not
least till it
clear.
eases down. At least till it
Yeah,
eases down,
yeah,
maybe two
yeah.
weeks. I
But
think
but what?
just make it 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
obviously and then
And
I
then
don't know
after
what
two
they can
weeks,
do.
what? And then 2 weeks, if let's say there's no football, would you rather no football at all, or would you still be okay with behind closed doors? What do you think, Harry?
This is the problem, right? So I don't know, man. I think probably football, but at the same time, I didn't enjoy that football last year. So
Same.
I
Didn't
don't know,
enjoy it as
man.
well.
I don't know, man. It's a very tricky one. Mitchell, give us your thought, guys. Give us your thoughts as
Yeah,
well.
give us a thought. Yep.
I'm not sure about this situation. I don't know which way I want it because both I don't like both situations.
Yep.
Um, I mean, ideally, they shut it down just for 2 weeks. Let everyone clear their COVID outbreaks. Let everyone get vaccinated if you can. I mean, obviously, it's everyone's choice, but if possible, try and get everyone double vaccinated, at least the players. And
Yep.
then we can resume again with fans in the stadium, with all the
Yep.
fans following protocol as well, which probably
Yep.
is mask, etc. But
Yep. Yep.
that's an ideal situation. Whether that happens or not, we really don't know, man.
Yep.
Um, yeah, exactly, man. It doesn't work in our favor without fans. I mean, Man City. I'm going to have a dig at Man City here. The reason why they ran away with the title last season is it doesn't make a difference whether their fans are not in the stadium. It's like they don't have support in that stadium. It's a very, very quiet arena. So I'm sorry, guys, Man City fans out there, but I'm having a dig at you guys. So I think that's when they have the edge and they will walk away with the league, actually, if there's no
Yep.
support in the stadium, because Liverpool and quite a lot of clubs depend on that fan support and that atmosphere in the stadium. So, I mean, let's see how this works out, but it doesn't look good. It looks really gloomy, and I was just dreading the situation again. I was just hoping for a full season without any issues. It was so fun, but I mean, we'll just have
Yeah,
to
I
see how
mean,
that
I mean,
plays
we
out.
are midway. We are midway through the season, Harry, and everything is going well. And we thought, all right, midway through,
Back
16,
to some
18,
normalcy. That's
back
what
to
I thought.
some normalcy. We saw, okay, it doesn't matter whether we're in Malaysia, things are still a bit rocky here and there, but it's fine as long as there's football to watch every weekend. It's fine, perfectly fine, But looks like this COVID thing is just never going to stop. It's just going to keep haunting us, and haunting us. Let's just hope for the best. And of course, guys, let us know your thoughts as well about this. And of course, let's hope for some good times to get back to Premier League
Yeah, I
football.
mean, again, great point. Yep, and I agree with that. I thought Newcastle were actually quite good. Eddie
Yep.
Howe has got them quite
Yeah.
organized. I think the problem is they need players, man. He needs to make signings. He doesn't have a good squad. He's a good manager. I don't think he has a good enough squad to compete. So I think he needs signings in January. But this game is obviously too soon. And Man City, I mean, we expect them to really run away with this time, man.
I mean, after
Uh,
Liverpool against Man City, I can just feel it, man. It's oh god, it's pain. I know, I
No,
know, I
and
know that
like I said,
feeling.
Ram, the one player who you actually felt could maybe do something on the break,
Yeah,
or hold the ball for that Maxima, and he's injured. Alan said Maxima was
the
injured in the
best
Liverpool game,
player for Newcastle by far. The best player for
and
Newcastle by
that's the
far.
thing. So I don't know if he's fit for this weekend because, guys, maybe you guys know, can let us know. But I know he was injured in the Liverpool game. He was brought off, and Callum Wilson was brought on. But if he's injured, then yeah, I think. I mean, in any case, they didn't have much of a shot. But even the little shot they had is basically gone. So I think Man City will run away with this game. And I think Newcastle can only hopefully see some light at the end of the tunnel once they've made some signings. I think they need to strengthen that squad quite urgently to avoid the drop.
They need to. Otherwise, what's the point of being the richest club in the world? And
no, because they're going to be playing. They're going to be playing in the Championship, right? They're going to get relegated if not. So
exactly.
Interesting. What is your prediction for this game, Ram? Give us a prediction, man.
Score prediction. Okay, I think Newcastle will score. I'm going to go with a 6-2 win for Man City.
6-2 to the City. Wow. I'm going to say 5-0, man. I think they're just going to hammer them and get a 5-0 result, I think.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to reverse that. You know what? Newcastle impressed me defensively, so I'm going to go 3-0. Maybe it won't be as big a hammering, and it's away from home for City. So,
and I have to say, man, Hari, this Premier League thing has been just so, it spoiled my entire FPL, man. What about you?
Yeah, it's totally ruined it. Totally ruined it. I don't know who to make captain. I don't know who to play because you just don't know which games are going on. Great shout here, man. Stop the African Cup of Nations. I agree
good shout,
with this.
Mamba, good shout. Yeah.
No, but they're still going on with it. It doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, the Omicron virus is quite rampant. The variant is quite rampant in Africa, obviously. And it's rampant in all over the world. But why get the players to travel now into Africa to play these games when I think they are a bit pointless? Even the games in the Premier League are getting postponed. So why get them traveling, etc.? It doesn't make sense. And obviously, from a Liverpool point of view, selfish point of view, stop the AFCON, man. We keep Salah, we keep Mane, we keep Naby Keita, and you know what? We really give a go. We give Man City a go. But for me,
I think it's.
Sorry, Ram, one good point. For me, just on the basis of health and concern for the players, this tournament shouldn't be going on, man. It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, so like I was going to say that actually, because it's not just about, okay, of course everyone is like, oh, Liverpool, Mo Salah is going to Africa. Okay, cool, it's good. But I think, safety comes first, health comes first. So I hope that even though the AFCON is going on, I think all these players that are from the Premier League, whoever they are, hopefully they decide not to make the trip, and hopefully they can cancel that AFCON because, these players won't be able to play. So I hope that happens.
The truth is they've got to cancel the AFCON. It doesn't make any sense. Just postpone it because, it's
just like the Euros. Just like the Euros.
We are canceling. The Premier League is canceling domestic games right now, and you're getting these players now to travel into Africa. I don't know, man. It's just a very, very silly thing, in my opinion. I think they should can it. Great question here. Because of the new outbreak, do you think any club willing to spend if the situation continues?
That's a good question. That is a very good question, Mambang. But I do think business is business. I do think that the business will never stop. I think they're going to try as much as possible because now I believe with the current situation, the price of players could drop. I don't know, maybe because of the COVID
situation. Know, man. This is a really good question. In my opinion, I thought that clubs would spend because January, especially the clubs that are threatened with relegation, normally spend a lot of money because they try to save themselves in January, right? And a lot of the big clubs don't do much business in January because there's no value and they do business in the summer, right? But I just don't know if they're going to spend, man, because the fact is they probably are so uncertain whether they're going to be games or the season is going to be called off, whether the season is going to be suspended. And if so, how long is it going to be suspended for? And number three, if they play behind closed doors, there are going to be no fans. There's going to be no revenue coming in as well. Is the club going to be willing to spend money on players, spend millions of pounds on a player, fully well knowing that there are going to be no fans in the stadium? They're going to be losing revenue from fans in the stadium. If not, they might lose revenue because the games are called off and the league is suspended. So it's tricky. I think the only club which I could see really throwing money at it, maybe Man City going for a striker because this doesn't really bother them whether there's revenue or not. They've got endless pit of money. And the other one I can think of is Newcastle because again they've got tons of money there and they really don't care if they lose.
But also one more thing, Hari, and of course everyone watching this. I think everyone, like a lot of these fans that actually buy season tickets, so they've actually prepaid for the entire season. So technically speaking, they already bought tickets for the whole season. So more or less, that sort of the revenue has already been covered, if I would think that way. And secondly, I feel, yes, you're right. Newcastle, I feel personally, they are going to spend. They have no choice. They have to spend because if they want to save their season, that's all they have to do right now. They have to spend money. Man City, in my
and the fact
opinion,
is, I mean, and the fact is, it doesn't bother Newcastle, right? Whether there's
yeah,
matchday
it
revenue or
doesn't.
not, they've got an endless bit of
Exactly.
money. Yes,
They've
yep.
got endless bit of money. And Man City, as you said, yes, it doesn't make a difference whether it's fans or not. And I think yes, they will spend to strengthen their attack or whatever it is. And I do see United as well spending to of course keep the pace as well. So I think yes, there will be a few clubs still will be spending. So I don't see
Actually,
that. I don't see that
that's a good
changing.
point. This is such a great question, man. I think
Yep.
it's probably only going to be some of the relegation clubs, but again, whether they do it because it's risky, they may not. Relegation threatened club, but I think Newcastle will definitely spend. I think
Yeah.
Man City may or may not spend because they're doing well without a striker, but I can still see them maybe going out for a number 9. Maybe they do it now. Maybe they do it in the summer when they go for Erling Haaland. I don't know. Man United might spend, I think, because Ralph Ragnick is only there for 6 months anyway. So
Yeah.
he might look to spend. But then again, if the season is suspended, does it make any sense to spend now? Or does it probably make more sense to spend in the summer when you can get better quality players? They will be available. So that's a decision that these clubs have to make. But it's a great point, great question, guys. Let us know your thoughts as well, man. I'd like to get your thoughts on this because I think it's a brilliant question.
Let me ask you guys out there watching this. Okay, which club do you think will sign? Okay, and do you think which clubs do you think will not sign? Just let us know. We want to
Yeah,
know
like,
from
give
you.
us your thoughts, man. Do you think is there any club that's going to sign? I mean, I
Yeah.
know Aston Villa and Steven Gerrard were probably looking to spend in January, but will they do it now? I'm not sure because Steven Gerrard very clearly, I think, has said that he would like to spend some money in January, I think, but whether he's going to be able to do it or not with this situation, there's just too much uncertainty. And I think
Yep.
that's the problem. When there's uncertainty, do you spend that much money, that big bucks,
Yep.
or do you hold your powder? Do you keep your powder close to you, right? So really interesting point. So yeah, Newcastle, Man City, guys. I think icing is going to be 3-0 to City. Ram has said, what he
6-2.
said, 6-2. Wow,
Yep.
interesting scoreline, Ram. We
Yep.
will move on. We will definitely move on. Burnley won't sign anyone. They always don't sign anyone. Whether
Hey
there is,
Ray, what's
whether
up?
there is or not, they definitely don't sign anyone. So I still want to buy a new captain. I don't know for that, man. Aubameyang. Apparently they're going to set up. They've set up a leadership committee this time instead of just appointing one captain. But I think if they're gonna have to appoint one captain. And apparently the rumors are it could be Odegaard, which is surprising because he's a very young player. He's just joined
And
the
he's
club.
just arrived. Yeah.
But apparently, from what I've heard, he's got really good leadership qualities. They say so. Interesting. But I would have thought maybe Lacazette. But maybe Lacazette is not being chosen because Lacazette is probably going to move on. I think he might be sold in the summer. You just never know because I think he wants to move on as well. So I don't know. It's going to be really interesting, man. Really, really interesting. Moving on, guys. Let's move on from the game, which is probably really easy. Like I said, not many games to cover, but the biggest game.
Really
The
easy?
biggest game.
Hey,
biggest game.
Ray, you heard that? He said it's a really easy game. Come on. I don't think so.
No, I mean the easy game I was referring to, by the way, was Newcastle and Man City. It's a very easy game, so we're not going to spend too much time. That's what I meant, Ram. But this one is also a very easy game for Liverpool. It's away against Spurs at the London Stadium, or White Hart Lane,
Are
whatever
you
they call
sure
it
with
these days.
Antonio Conte in charge? Do you think it's going to be that easy? Come on, hurry.
No, I'm just trying to wind Ray up, but to be honest, yeah, I'm actually very nervous about this game because it's away.
Yeah.
It's against a Spurs side that has, I think, won 2 or 3 games on the bounce now, keeping quite a lot of clean sheets. Yeah, keeping quite a lot of clean sheets. Keeping quite a lot of clean sheets. And Antonio Conte has got them well drilled, right? So they're very organized. They don't concede goals, and obviously when you have Son and Harry Kane up front and Lucas, you will score goals. The thing is, though, Harry Kane hasn't been really scoring, but you know what? That also does scare me because he may start to score in this game, because he's got that much quality. So I'm a bit worried. And the other thing I've got to say, which may be a plus or minus, is Spurs are very well rested. They have had 10 days rest. They haven't played over I think the whole of December so far. I think the last game was December the 4th or something. Liverpool in the meantime, Liverpool in the meantime have played 4 matches. So I think they're very well rested. Liverpool has got a tiring squad. Apart from that, Liverpool has got players missing. They've got Virgil van Dijk out through COVID. They've got Fabinho out through COVID. They've got Curtis Jones out through COVID. And we just don't know if there's anyone else as well. So it looks like it's going to be a banker for Spurs. If there's any game they're going to win, is this. Because Liverpool side ravaged by COVID, very exhausted, playing a number of games, and a Spurs side that's very well rested. So I don't know, man. But at the same time, the only thing that gives me hope as well is it better to have the rest, or is it fair to say that Spurs may not have rhythm? They haven't played in 10 days. They don't have match fitness. You may have some kind of training fitness, but you don't have match fitness. They've also had a COVID outbreak. So how long do the players take to recover from COVID?
The momentum is important. The momentum is so Liverpool has the momentum in terms of playing 4 games. So they're carrying the momentum forward. They've been winning all their games. So I think they're going to go into this one more fresh because they're having that. So yes, you're right. Spurs could be a little bit so-called jet lagged after 10 days rest in a way.
I think in terms of freshness, Spurs will have that. They will be the fresher of the two teams because they haven't played. But I think in terms of match fitness, I think Liverpool has got that. And Liverpool has got the rhythm, match fitness. So maybe Liverpool can catch Spurs out cold. That's where I look at it, because Spurs may take a few minutes to get into the rhythm of playing a match again. And I think Liverpool, if they start fast, they can catch Spurs out. And that's where I see us taking advantage of Spurs. But apart from that, man, we have a squad that's ravaged with issues now. And then obviously no rest.
That's where Spurs needs to take advantage. They have to take advantage of that.
I mean, Spurs, if you ask me honestly, normally I'd say Liverpool are favorites. But looking at that, Spurs may be favorites because it's at home. And they've got I think they've probably got a fully fit squad back again. There's no more COVID issues.
So it's Spurs games to lose. It's Spurs game to lose, basically.
Yeah, so there's no pressure on Liverpool here, guys. No pressure on Liverpool. We just go out there and do our job. But again, if we start fast, I think we get a result. If Spurs play an open game, Liverpool might score 3 and above. You know what? They won't play an open game because Antonio Conte never plays an open game. He's very organized. He defends first. He tries to keep a clean sheet, and then he tries to play from there. So I don't think they'll play an open game against us. It's going to be, it's like I said, it's tricky, man. We can't rotate our team much because of the issues we have with the COVID issues and all. So I don't know how this game is going to play out, man. Ray, give us your thoughts, man. Who do you think is going to start up front for Spurs? I mean, I think it's probably going to be Son, Harry Kane, and Lucas, because I think those are the 3 that he's been playing. And that does scare me because that's a really good 3. But at the same time, man, how do you keep Liverpool quiet? How do you keep Mo Salah quiet? Mo Salah, Diogo Jota, Sadio Mane. How do you keep them quiet?
Bad game?
Yeah, man. Let's see. We already had our bad game, by the way. Our bad game was against West Ham. So hopefully no more bad games. Kane, Son, and Lucas. All right, fair enough. And then Pierre, Højbjerg, and Skip in the middle of the park. All right, cool. I think, Ram, my thoughts on this, and I want to get your thoughts on this as well, man. But my thoughts on this, Liverpool will play their normal way. They'll play 4-3-3. Because of the injuries, we can't really rotate. So I think it's going to be Alisson in goal. I think we're going to play with the back 2. Virgil van Dijk's out, obviously. So it's going to be Matip and Konate, who, by the way, if you didn't catch the game in midweek, guys, he was an absolute beast against Newcastle. And he also was a beast against Zlatan in Milan. Yeah, so I think it's going to be Matip and Konate. On the right, obviously, it's going to be the Luka Modric or Xabi Alonso at right back. Trent Alexander-Arnold. At left back, I think he's going to go with Robertson, although it wouldn't surprise me if he goes with Kostas Tsimikas, just to give Robertson a break, and Tsimikas has been great. I mean, who is partnering Matip? It's Konate. He had a brilliant game, by the way. He's getting into gear, so Konate will partner Matip. And then in midfield, the 3. The problem here is Fabinho is huge for us. He's huge in midfield. He's out, so I think it'll be Jordan Henderson playing the 6. I think it'll be Thiago Alcantara playing the 8 with him. And the other position is up for grabs. Is it going to be Ox again? Or, in my opinion, he might go with James Milner, or I would go with Naby Keita, because Naby Keita came back from injury and came on the other day and had a brilliant game against Newcastle when he came on. He had a real big impact. So he could go with James Milner, he could go with Naby Keita, or he could go with Oxlade-Chamberlain. And then up front, this is again a very tricky situation, Ram, because we have got Senor back, Bobby Firmino. So it's going to be Sadio Mane on the left, Mo Salah on the right. In my opinion, I think he might start with Bobby Firmino here, and he might give Jota a break. Let's see how he goes, because Jota is scoring goals, but I think he might give Jota a break.
Jota is on form. Why would he take away something that's working?
No, I think like I said,
only wise to play him on. keep playing
No,
him
I get your point, but I think Spurs, like we said, Spurs are very well rested, and Liverpool have to rotate. It's only been 3 days after the game, so I think he will rotate. He will keep Jota as a weapon on the bench. He will start with Bobby Firmino, and I think Bobby always has a good game against Spurs as well. He has really good games against Spurs. He links the play up very well. He might be able to put pressure on Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and skip, drop down, and then put pressure on the Spurs deep lying midfielders as well. So I think that's how we will start with Jota on the bench, but we'll see how that plays out, man. That's my opinion. What about you, Ram? Do you think this is going to go Liverpool's way or Spurs' way? I want to get a neutral fan's perspective, man. Although you're not really neutral, but
you got that right. I am neutral about this one, but I think a result that I'm hoping for would be a draw, because Spurs are, of course, if they win, they go further away from us, which I don't want that to happen. So I think a draw would be a fair result. I do see this, interestingly enough, in my opinion, I do see this going just as a 1-1, possibly 2-2 at the most. I don't see more than that. Yeah.
Fair enough. That's your thoughts on this one. Okay. How do Pool normally do against a 5-3-2 formation? I mean, they've played a Conte team before. It's not like we haven't. We've played Conte when he used to manage Chelsea as well. And Liverpool always play the same way. They will go out and try and dominate the game and try and win the game. So, I mean, I know your front three is pretty good. Spurs have a good front three with Son, Kane, and Lucas. But I think what Liverpool will do is they will try to starve Spurs at the ball. So they'll try to dominate the midfield. Spurs play with the two in midfield, I think, with Skip and Højbjerg, if I'm not mistaken, at least.
Correct.
So I think that's where they will try to dominate the midfield with the three in the middle, especially with Thiago and Henderson, who keep the ball really well. So I think they will try and dominate that midfield. And then obviously, another great point here, can Emerson and Reguilon, the wing backs for Spurs, push Trent Alexander and Andy Robertson back up the pitch? They might be able to do that, but I think if they do this, then Liverpool will. If Emerson and Reguilon are up the pitch, then this is a question for Spurs. Can you then deal with a 3-on-3? Because if you push these two guys up the pitch, then it's Salah, Mane, and Firmino or Jota up against your three centre backs, and I will always fancy our 3 against 3 with a 3-on-3. So it's up to Spurs here. Do they get Emerson and Reguilon to push up, or do they end up having those two back and playing as a 5 in defence? Because if you go up too high, if Liverpool
you leave exposed. You leave
it exposed because Salah, Mane, and Jota or Firmino will love to exploit that. So it's up to Spurs how they play this, in my opinion. Do they dare and go with Emerson and Reguilon pushing up, or do they not dare and actually drop back?
I can see Reguilon doing that because he's good on the ball. He can attack and he can put the crosses in. So I think it's only wise for him to do that. But I'm not so sure about Emerson Royal though, because not very sure about that. But I think Reguilon might do that. So I think they might focus on one side of the attack. To be honest, that's what I think will happen.
Okay, fair enough. Yep. He's also got a point. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg will also drop back to play as a centre back. Yep. I mean, listen, if he does that, it's fair enough. But I don't think Pierre-Emile Højbjerg will get time on the ball. So if he gets the ball, at the end of the day, you've also got to have someone who's good in the middle of the park, who's going to have time on the ball to play your ball forward to your attacking players, your attacking 3. I don't think he'll get time on the ball because the Liverpool 3 in the middle will press the living daylights out of Spurs. Thiago Alcantara, Henderson, and Naby Keita are pressing monsters. They'll press the hell out of the midfield in Spurs. And don't forget, Bobby Firmino also drops back. So Liverpool play like a 4 with Bobby Firmino, who will also pressure Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. So what could happen is Spurs may not be able to push up the pitch. They may have the ball. Liverpool will press, regain the ball back quickly, and attack Spurs again. I think the key is whether Spurs can very quickly get the ball up to the front 3. If they can't do that, they can't get out, Liverpool will keep counter-pressing them and keeping them in, which is where I see Liverpool having the edge. I don't think you'll break the Pool press. Good point, Ray, but I don't think you'll break the Pool press because I don't think your midfielders are very well equipped. I think Oliver Skip is a great player. I haven't seen much of him recently, but he doesn't seem like a player who's got a great passing range. He seems more a player who keeps it simple. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, very similar. I don't think he's a very extravagant or good playmaker. He's a man who keeps it simple in the middle of the park. So I think we can press them to great effect. Will Liverpool be tired? Yes, they will be fatigued, which is why I think there might be a need to rotate a little bit. How do we rotate? Maybe Kostas Tsimikas will come in. Ram, I think you like Kostas, right? He's a great player.
Yeah, I think he's absolutely brilliant. One for the future, obviously. So the only thing I'm really hoping for, because Liverpool, you really have this curse where all these young players come in, they get injured. I just hope that this guy he doesn't get injured too quickly. You know what
No,
I
I
mean?
mean, I think Costas has been a great deputy for Robertson. Has had a lot
Yeah,
of games, good games as a
yep.
starter this year as well. So I think we may start with Costas. I would start with Costas and maybe keep Robertson on the bench just to freshen things up. Trent will obviously play. And I think in midfield, there's a question mark here, right? I think Henderson has to start because Fabinho is out. So Henderson has to start at the 6. And then the key is, does he play Thiago from the start? Because again, he may be tired. Or does he maybe go with James Milner and Naby Keita? That way he keeps Thiago on the bench as a weapon. And that way James Milner is very, very fresh.
I
James
I think
James
Keita will
Milner
start.
had just a key point. James Milner hasn't really played, so he's fresh. He
Yep,
would be, and James Milner, man, he's a tiger in the middle of the park. He's a pressing
yep,
monster,
yep.
so he could start, and then he might start Naby Keita, who's also a pressing monster, and again, he's also fresh. Ox might start. Ox had a start the other day, but he came off early, so I don't know. He might keep Thiago on the bench just to keep things fresh in attack. I think Bobby will start instead of Jota to keep things fresh. So we'll see how the game plays out, man. Conte may play for a draw. I think Conte may
Looks
attack
like, yeah,
because I
that
don't
would be a
know
possibility. Yep.
on the counter, but this would be the wrong approach. Exactly. Yes, this is a good point. Don't forget the legend that is Divock Origi. Yes, Divock Origi is apparently injured. He hasn't been in the squad for the last 2 games. I don't know if he's fit for this one. I doubt he is fit yet. I think he's still carrying a bit of a knock. But I would love him to be fit, man, because the guy always comes on and does damage. So he could also be an option. Of course, we also have on the bench Taki Minamino, who may be able to come on and do something. So there is some options to freshen things up. I think it's all depends on the next 1 or 2 days. So today and tomorrow, whether there are any more COVID cases in the Liverpool camp. If there's any
Okay.
more cases, then I think we have no chance, basically, because then I think we'll go into the game with reserves and Spurs will just hammer us. So I think
Hari,
it's going to boil down to that.
I want to ask you, what do you think is the possible likelihood that this game might be postponed? Say it.
I'm actually going to say about 60%.
60%. Yeah, I
I'm
think
going to
they're
say
about.
60%.
Yeah.
Because the fact that Liverpool have had 3 COVID cases, there's a very good chance, obviously, they have had interaction with the other players in the team.
Yep.
So there's a very good chance there may be a few positive results that come out like yesterday, today, maybe today, tomorrow, the morning of the game. And if that happens, then you rule out another few players. And then if the game goes ahead, then Spurs will win it easily. But I don't think it'll be a fair affair at all, because I think it'll be really, really unfair. So I don't know how that's going to pan out. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the game plays out, man. But I think 60% the game gets called off. For some reason, I think we have not heard the end of the COVID cases in the Liverpool camp yet.
What do you guys think? All of you, all of you watching this, give us your thoughts. Tell us know if you think the game's going to go on, it's going to be postponed. Let us know what your thoughts
Exactly, guys. Let us know how do you think the game is going on. Let's get some predictions in, Ram. We know what. Actually, good question, Ray. Maybe you can chip in here, man. Who are Spurs playing in the back 3 right now? I think Conte has settled on the back 3. I think Davinson Sanchez, for some reason, he's brought him back into the side. So I think Davinson Sanchez is going to play in the back 3. And then I don't know who else plays in the back 3 for you guys, Ray. Does Eric Dyer play in the back 3 these days? And also a quick question for Ray, who may have some Spurs news here. What about... All right, there you go. Great point. Ben Davis has been moved into a left-sided centre-back, Dyer, and then Sanchez. Romero is still injured. I was going to ask, Romero's injured. Fantastic. I would fancy the Liverpool front 3 against Davis, Dyer, and Sanchez any day of the week. I think Spurs have had some easy games recently. I know they have won 3-0, etc., but they were playing Norwich, and I think they played Leeds as well, who gave them a tough game. But these 3 haven't really faced a front 3 like the Liverpool front 3, which is Mane, Salah, Bobby, or even Jota, and maybe Origi if he's fit. So, in my opinion, this is a real test for Spurs. And I think what will happen is Spurs will, if they're left 3-on-3, they've got no chance against those 3. So I think what will happen is Emerson Royale will be pushed back, Reguilon will be pushed back, and then it'll end up being a back 5 with Spurs not able to get up the pitch. And if that happens, that's ideal because we keep Spurs in. And I think if we keep Spurs in at some point in time, we break through. and we score a goal or two. This back three worries you? Yes, I mean, I look at that back three against Salah, Mane, and Firmino or Jota, and I think we're going to get goals, man. So it all depends on whether we can keep a clean sheet without Virgil van Dijk and Fabinho. But if we can, I mean, Konate has been absolutely brilliant. So if we can, then yeah, I do fancy us to score against Spurs. So it's going to be a really interesting game. In under normal circumstances, Ram, if there was no COVID outbreak, if Spurs were not arrested, I mean, didn't have the break of 10 days, then I would put Liverpool as hot favourites. But considering Spurs are fresh, and obviously Liverpool have played a lot of games, I think this is quite an even game. If anything, it's probably siding with Spurs a little because they're playing at home. So we're going to see how it pans out. Ram, very quickly, man, give us a prediction.
I'll go with 2-2. 2-2. That's a good score. I think Spurs will score first. I have a very strong feeling they will, and Liverpool probably, they'll fight back. So yeah, 2-2.
I'm actually going to go Liverpool to edge this. I'm going to take Liverpool to edge this. Liverpool to win this 2-1. I think Spurs score because you have Kane and Son up front. You score. So I think Spurs score, but I think Liverpool will edge it 2-1. And they'll win the game. Harry, would you take a draw now? No, I won't, Ray, because we're going for the title. I don't know if you know what that feels like, but we're going for the title. We're going for the title, and we're going for the title. And when you go up against a side like Man City for the title, you have to win every game. A draw here, and I think Man City just runs away with the title. So we have to go for the win. And I think when you have to go for the win and you have to get a win, we will win the game. So I think we win the game 2-1, actually. We edge the game out. I know we've got issues, but as long as there's no more COVID cases, then I think we still have the squad because we still have Ox on the bench, Minamino on the bench potentially, Tyler Morton, who's a brilliant player. So we've got the options off the bench if need be.
I want to say something though. I mean, Ray, since you're on chatting with us, with your channel Spurs 9501, well, could this be a resurgence, on the 95th minute of stoppage time? Spurs score the winner. Why not?
Title, what's that? Yeah, I'm sure you don't know what this is, man. But yeah, so this is what we're going for. We were talking about this actually really earlier. We think maybe the AFCON might get cancelled. We just don't know. I don't think we will struggle because I think the games they might miss, the Premier League games they might miss. They might miss some cup games, but I think the Premier League games they might miss are probably only two. And I think one of them is Crystal Palace. The other one, I'm not very sure. So if they only miss two games, then I think we can cope because we've got the legend that is Divock Origi. We've got Bobby Firmino. We've got Diogo Jota. We've got Taki Minamino. We've got Oxlade-Chamberlain. We've got options, man, who can get us through some of these games, I think. So I think we'll be fine, but it depends. The tournament may not go ahead, which may be ideal. So we'll just have to find out. Guys, it's been absolutely brilliant. Give us your thought. Give us your prediction for the game as well, if the game goes ahead. Over to you, Ram.
Well, Hari, before we end the show, of course, thank you everyone for chipping in on your thoughts in our live chat. But just before we go, we just want to say, we have a dear friend of ours from across, of course, YouTube, Bob Spur TV. Of course, the host Bob, he's basically trying to recover from COVID. We do wish him a very, very speedy recovery. He's a good friend of ours, great lad, good Spurs fan. So, Bob, of course, wishing you all the best. You are a fighter. You will get through this. Hari, I think you want to say to Bob.
No, Bob, wish you a really speedy recovery, Bob. And all our prayers are with you. Yep. And obviously, guys, as you know, there are quite some bad floods in and around Malaysia as well. So keep safe, stay safe. It's not the best time for the world right now, but we hope we pull through this one, and we hope the Premier League pulls through as well. What do they do? Do they stop the league for a while? Give us your thoughts as well. Should we stop the league for a while? Should we play behind closed doors again? I don't know, but the hope is that if I had it my way, we'd stop it for 2 weeks and then resume with fans back in the stadium again. But just a 2-week break and that's it. But we'll have to see because the games are getting called off left, right, and center, so we just don't know how it's going to pan out. I hope some of the games go ahead tomorrow, but I can't say it's anything more than hope, man.
Yep. I do agree with you as well. Let's just hope for the best. Let's hope everyone is safe. Let's hope everyone is okay. Of course, till we meet again in episode 102. So signing off from the Plot Malaysia. episode 101. This is the show for the fans.
By the fans. Cheers guys. Cheers, Ram.
Cheers,
guys. Harry. And do hit the like button, by the way. Do subscribe. Do hit the like button. Do hit the bell notification so you get updated on our future shows. We've got some exciting shows lined up, by the way, for later in December, guys. Some really interesting guests as well. So stay tuned. And cheers.
Cheers.